Hello and welcome to the McCord List. Today, I'm Rachel McCord, your talk show bestie, and I'm so excited to see you. Whether this is your first time here or you've been here many times before, we have got a fun show ahead for you. As many of you know, I am obsessed with helping you live life and live it to the full. The McCord List today tackles topics about faith, family, parenting, fitness, entrepreneurship, and pretty much everything in between. That's all about helping you love the life you're living. You guys, we bring in some amazing guests, and we're always trying to share messages that inspire, encourage, and empower you to live your life a little bit better. And I think the most important thing is that you get encouraged that as you're building these incredible moments for yourself and for your life, that you can really find inspiration by the conversations we're having. And I'm excited because today's show is amazing. You guys, Korte Brodis is our first guest. She is amazing. You're probably familiar with her dad. He's pretty much a cultural icon, Snoop Dogg. That's right, Snoop Dogg's daughter is in the studio, and I'm so excited to talk to her about stepping into the empowering world of beauty with her new brand, Chalk. It is gorgeous. It's amazing. They have products ranging from lips to all areas of your face, feeling fabulous. And I'm so excited to talk to her about empowerment because I know that it is so important that when we get a platform like Korte is very familiar with, is that we use it to empower others. When I started the McCord List back in 2013, it was out of a passion to be a voice of love and kindness in the world. I genuinely started off wanting to be sassy self-help. Now we've evolved a little bit. It's more about finding a well-rounded life for yourself, grounded in faith, focused on your future, and intentional about making an impact in the community. And I'm so excited to talk to Korte about what it's been like growing up with such an icon as her dad, but how she's been able to charge her own path and find a purpose that's bigger than what she's doing right now. I cannot wait to talk to her about her collection and what it's been like stepping into business as an entrepreneur. It is hard, you guys. I don't know how many of you are entrepreneurs, but I've started multiple companies, and one of the things that I think you face the most as an entrepreneur is that challenge of where I am right now is where my business is. So if I want my business to grow, I need to grow and evolve. And so how can we do that? We can create systems and structure to scale our businesses, but we also need to make sure that we are bringing on the right team around us who can help us win. Because it's important that every person who you work with represents you super well. And I think about that too as a mom, because even if you have the right team, you're the only person who is the mom to that little baby bug. And so it's really important to be able to find that balance where you can say, you know what, I'm focusing on my business, but I'm also being mindful of my obligations at home. One of my friends says to me, you cannot have it all at the same time. And I think that that's a really good example because sometimes we're trying to do it all. We want to be frugal and save our money, but we also are so busy that sometimes you just got to grab and go and run out the door with your little one. But it's about learning how you can create these systems in your life to live it even better. And I think that's what's so fun about interviewing these guests is that we get to hear their systems. I love to deep dive with them and ask them, hey, what is this like? How can we grow? How can we evolve? How can we help you live life better by learning from them about what they've struggled with? Our next guest, Mercedes Gannon, is coming on, and she is going to talk about her life as a singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and now an author. She has written this incredible book, How to Survive a Knockout. She's going to talk to you about what it's like to really face big adversities in this life, how to overcome them and survive them, and then go on to thrive in your life. And that's what we're all trying to do. You know, life comes at you really quick, and whether it's in your own personal family or maybe your extended family, you can face adversities and struggles and find it feel like a big knockout. And you can just feel like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make it through? But if you sit down with these incredible people, by joining the McCord List today, we are able to coach you through the stuff that they're learning and that we can share with the world, because I think that that's what this life is all about. And hopefully you'll take these lessons and you'll share them with the people around you, because it is so important to make an impact. And the way that we do that is by being really present with where we're at and looking at what the world needs and how we can make a difference and we can help others around us. And then our third guest, you guys, she's amazing. Her name is Brenda Cooper. She is an Emmy award-winning fashion stylist and image consultant. You probably know some of her work from the iconic show, The Nanny. She designed the outfits and the style for that show, and she is going to talk about her incredible book called The Silhouette Solution and how she believes that simplicity in fashion can help you get to the place of confidence that you want to be at. So we're going to talk about some beauty with Corey. We're going to talk about some fashion with Brenda. And along the way, we're going to talk about overcoming, surviving these knockouts that happen in life. Because truthfully, I don't know about you, but as a woman, it's so important to me to feel beautiful and to feel loved and seen and known. And I think that we do that by embracing our inner beauty, embracing the strength within. One of those cute little memes that say you never know how strong a woman is until she's like a tea bag until you put her in hot water. I feel like that's the truth, right? Like when you face the hot water of this life, the question is how you're going to deal with it. And that's what determines your grit and your strength. And the best thing about it is that it's not for naught. You're going to take those messages, and I hope you're going to break generational traumas and challenges so that your children and your children's children live a better life. That's what this is about. In this life, we're always trying to evolve and grow. But if we stay numb, if we stay shut off and shut out from the world around us, sure, we might avoid some pain, but we also avoid so much love. We don't want to create this Teflon glass around ourselves that we can't let anything in, because we also can't let anything out. And it is through our expression of love and life and creativity and passion that we're actually able to do something bigger within ourselves. When I created the McCord List and built this media network, my passion was helping these stories get told, because I'm only so much as a human being. I can only share so much. But if I can find other people who have similar passions that I do of seeing the world as a better, more impactful, more beautiful place, then I knew that if I could empower them and encourage them to create their own stories in this world, they would go out and find other people whose stories would inspire our community. And I believe that every word we speak in this life matters greatly. It is so easy to get stuck in the 24/7 news cycle and see all this negativity. But the truth is that what you think about, you bring about. So if you're focusing on negativity, then you're going to see negative things outplay in your life time and time again. In fact, if you were to take a moment and really think about all the things that you might have complained about, maybe out of a good heart, just trying to process and vent. But if you think about the things that you've complained about over the past month, 6 months, 1 year, you might see that there's a consistent rhythm in those complaints. And I believe that's because life will present challenges to you that it wants you to correct, it wants you to heal from, so that you can go into the next phase of yourself. We're always invited into this phase, into this new season. And I don't believe that the world is straight. I think it's curved. I think that as we live our lives, everything that we do is compounded by time. So that curve starts to expand. You're either investing in your future and going upward, or you're not investing, you're going downward. You're not staying straight. You're not just plateauing and chilling. You're always leading into something. And I think it's so important that every single day we show up. You stay in the game, as one of our guests talked about before. Dino Sutter talked about it before on one of our shows. Stay in the game. Keep pressing forward. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your future because you've had a hard break, or you've had a hard breakup, or a challenge. The truth is that you can always move into a different dynamic if you just believe it's possible for you. And I will tell you, I am living proof. I grew up in trailer parks in Georgia. I overcame a lot to be sitting right here in front of you, facing my own self-doubt, facing my own struggles, my own adversities, overcoming health battles and family challenges, and having to find a way to find my voice from having a speech impediment as a kid. The truth is that there are all these things that people struggle with, and you never know how much it costs someone just to show up, just to look at you in the eye, shake your hand, and introduce themselves. Sometimes it's taken hurdles and barriers just to get out of bed. And so I just want you to know that wherever you are in this journey, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're holding it together, barely holding it together, or maybe right now you're listening under your covers, wanting to hide from the whole world. I see you and I get it. And everybody's on their own journey. It's not this whole like up and down process. It's really about riding the ebbs and flows of this life, but as a human, evolving and growing so that as life comes at you, you're not getting hit by it, but you're doing the life that you were created to do. You're surviving that knockout. Also on the show today, I have an amazing conversation with Drea Renee. She has her own show. It's called Hey Babe, Can We Talk? And she literally talks about all things dating. It's amazing because I think about how important it is in our lives to have these healthy, amazing relationships. But I'm going to be honest, we have so much fun just hanging out. So I cannot wait to do this interview with her and just see what she's gonna say and all the fun things. I am obsessed with her. And what's really cool, fun fact, is that she is actually in the studio next door to me with her own show because we are here in LA filming, of course, the McCord List today. And so I'm excited. And then for my social friends who follow me at I am Rachel McCord and at the McCord List, you guys even need to be watching because she's gonna have me on her show and that's gonna be so much fun. Welcome back to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord, sitting down with my new best friend, Drea Renee. I love you.
I love you.
So much.
But like really.
Like I know.
We sat down and I was like, do we know each other?
Do we? I feel like we need to fast forward to best friend status.
Oh,
like,
immediately.
what do you do? Okay, first of all, I actually know what you do. Yeah. You're an on-host camera girl. You have Hey Babe, Can We Talk?
Yes.
Look at our little, even our mugs are besties.
I know.
They're like
so cute next to each other.
I feel like they're best friends. We're going to have so much fun.
I love our energy because sometimes you meet people and you're like, hey, girl. But you and I were like, hey, girl.
We're like, listen, you're grabbing popcorn. I got to tell you about my trauma. Wait, okay, so I'm so excited. So you're as single as they come right now. Your show is all about dating and all dating. The things.
Yeah, so for my show, it's called Hey Babe, Can We Talk? And my thing is like, I've done everything wrong, so let me help you do it right. And so I don't want to come from this like prescriptive place of like, this is what you should do. I'm out here in the mess, online dating, doing all the things, telling my stories and keeping it 100, but also bringing people humor and good advice at the same time.
I mean, wow. Can everyone just be like, that was like, let me just show you exactly how to do a perfect soundbite. That was it.
Thank you.
By the way, if you did say, this is what you need to do, I'd be like, okay. And then the popcorn, you know and the notepad.
Exactly. But it's also nice when you add humor to stuff because a lot of times these podcasts are so serious and I love that for them. But I'm like a goofball and my brain is like crazy with a little hamster doing a little blow in its brain. You know, it's crazy. You know what I mean? So I have to just go with that and let my personality do what it's going to do. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I do think it's funny you just said that about your brain and you just before we started filming said our brains were the same.
My little hamster.
So I don't know what you're trying to say about my brain. It sounds like we're running in like our little mugs. Our hamsters are running together.
They are running together.
Wait, what inspired your show? How did you get started in this?
Well, my dating life was in shambles. I was very unhealed, dating people for all the wrong reasons, dating people just because I wanted to say I had a boyfriend, but not doing any discernment about values, morals, what they like. Can I life with this person? It was as simple as he's hot. And I remember one day my therapist was like, Drea, do you like him? And I was like, why? What does this even matter? I'm like, he chose me. You know what I mean? And I didn't care about anything. They're bright red flags. And I'm just like, what are you doing on Thursday? And so eventually I was so tired of that. And I was talking to my girlfriends about it. But again, still laughing along the way. And they were like, you need to talk about this because so many people relate. And a breakup would like take me out in like the worst way possible. And I started realizing, I was like, am I the only one like this? Let me talk about this. And I am not the only one. So that's how my show started.
I can't believe that you're single because you're so pretty.
Oh,
I think what it is your standards. You raised your standards because you got some requirements to meet the Drea-ness. Okay, what are some of your requirements?
First of all, I really want to be able to be myself. I think the best gift you can give to your partner is that they can fully show up as themselves. Now, every relationship requires compromise, but if I can't be Drea, because Drea's going Drea, no matter what. You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
But sometimes people show up in your life and you feel like you got to be a caricature of yourself, you know, and I need to be able to fully express myself. I need to be able to laugh with you. I really want to have that best friend relationship with the passion as well. Like that is a requirement for me. And then like family values, financial stuff, because that stuff does matter. I have no shame in saying that. I like nice things. Okay, period. And so these are things that are important to me because I dated a broke guy for 4 years. I took care of everything and I will never do it again.
I love the things that you say.
Yeah.
You're so funny. I think it's so interesting that we have like these like weird feelings about that. I mean, it's okay to say, this is what I want in a relationship because what you want, you get. I told my sister, because she's dated a lot of broke people. I literally said, I'm like, listen, it's the same drama. It's the same
It's
drama.
the same drama.
But maybe a little bit more. And that doesn't mean that if you find the one that you love and, you know, there are beautiful starving artists and they're really starving,
and I
that
love
doesn't
that
mean
for
you
them.
can't.
I love that for them so
like not for
much.
me.
No.
But you know, it doesn't mean that you can't find that journey because, you know, we find who we're going to find.
Exactly.
But I think that it is really important to ask yourself maybe why you're gravitating to someone who isn't focused on that side of their life because it is an important piece of life. And I know for me, there was a year after my open heart surgery where I wasn't really focusing on being my best entrepreneur self. Like I sold my first company at 24. I've been working since I was 13. I wasn't in that season of life. But why was I not in that season? Because I was literally healing a physical broken heart.
Right.
And so I think that sometimes when we don't ask for what we deserve in this life, it's actually because we don't know what we deserve. So I don't think it's about money as much as it's about mindset. Because if that person has a mindset that says, my time's value, what I'm doing is valuable, and I'm going to put that energy in, it makes a big difference.
Right. And you have to let people know how to treat you. My mom always says that. So if a guy's doing X and you're accepting it, that's what you're going to get. And to your point, it's like I wasn't showing up as my fully healed self. I actually figured out who I was in that relationship. Everybody saw who he was, right? But I didn't. I was like, he's like from the East Coast. He's a little gritty, like covered in tats, a whole hot mess. And I was like, let me fix you. Let me heal you. And towards the end of that relationship, as I was doing work on myself and I'm growing and he wasn't coming with me, I started to see him for who he really was, and we didn't match anymore. Like my insides were not matching my outsides. And so I had to shift and pivot and find me another man. Now, the thing is, if I'm gonna cry, I'd rather cry in like a nice restaurant, getting the car sent to me, all the things. You know what I'm saying?
I know
I'm
exactly
crying
what
with the
you're
guy with the mattress on the floor, which I did do that.
Yeah. Okay. Which I think is hilarious. I don't know how to respond to it because I'm like, I don't know, can I admit what I'm thinking in my head? Because I feel like there's realness to that. There's realness to the fact that
100.
like I dated a guy and he was like all the things I thought, but he was like racking up all my credit cards and emptying all my accounts. So he was living large. It was just on my expense. I didn't know. Oh yeah, honey. Oh yeah. Like I would literally be like, who are you talking to? She was like, just say it's fine. I'd be like on the phone with my credit card. Yeah. So do you, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you can add his name. And then like suddenly my cards are getting declined. I'm like, what happened?
Oh my God.
Girl. But these are lessons we have to learn in this life. Unfortunately, sometimes we learn them the hard way. A wise person learns from someone else's mistakes. Smart person learns from their own.
Amen.
Never does. That. It's literally in the Bible. It's funny you just said amen. It's not my wisdom, it's Solomon, I'm pretty sure.
I love that, but you do have to go on that journey, and it makes you appreciate more when you are in those relationships where you get to show up, fully be yourself, and you have a partner that wants to match in that.
100%. So you've done the dating apps. You've done the interview people on your show and they ask you out afters.
I've done it. I've done it all.
You've done it. What have you learned?
I think I've learned, like I said before, when I know that I can't show up as Drea, that this person isn't the one for me. So I've gone through so much trauma, like dad stuff, family stuff, and I wasn't realizing that I was showing up with this on dates, right? So if a person is triggering, I don't think anybody can make you do anything, but sometimes your chemistry just like sparks the wrong thing in you. And I found myself going into these really awful places where I'm like looking at the phone, they're being inconsistent, and I'm getting triggered. And I was so used to that behavior that when someone healthy showed up, I'd kind of be like, why are you texting me? Why are you calling me? Why are you showing up? You know, but now I embrace that, and that's what I exude, so it all makes sense. But before, I was literally just accepting anything. And so now I've learned to value myself and love myself, and that is more of what I'm attracting versus these people that come out of nowhere doing garbage things.
That's genius thinking. And I think that is really important when you're able to say, actually, like, is this really the best for me? Is it causing me to show up my best in it? And maybe this season, this relationship that feels like a big waste of 2 years, was actually this opportunity for you to learn something about yourself. It's the life of reflection, right? Exactly. Our ability to look back. Okay, I heard there's a question you ask married people. Okay. I qualified. Should we turn the table? Should you ask me this question?
So it's such a simple question, but it lets you know sort of like where you are in your relationship. It's called the umbrella question. So I don't know if you have kids or not.
I have one.
Okay, if your husband goes to pick up your kid at school, right, and it's raining, he's waiting for the kid to come out, he's standing there with an umbrella, and there's a mom there who's also standing waiting for her kid to come out, and the rain's coming down on her. Are you okay if your husband goes and snuggles up with her under the umbrella with her, or is homegirl just going to be out to dry?
Okay, well, she won't be dry.
Well,
I mean, I would think, are you covering her and forgetting our kid? What about my kid? Right? So I'm okay. There's this really funny story. So there was a season of my life, and we talked to. I'm trying to. What part can I share?
Girl, right? The discernment of head is always the thing.
Dancing around. So basically, we talked to this guy who was so wise and almost like. I think he's a prophet. He really sees things. And he called my husband one time. He's like, I saw this picture of you standing in front of this small cottage home in this like snowy area. And you were just standing at the door with the door wide open and all of the heat was getting out. So I think the number one question you have to think about when you're choosing that person, you talked about values, you talked about all these things. Now as a mom, I think about who is that person going to be as a husband? Like I have my friends who are like, oh, I dumped him because he chewed like a horse. I'm like, that can be fixed. Like, does he show up for a kid? Does he provide? But you know, the point of that story was that he saw my husband in this place where he was letting the heat from home out, focused on the world around him. And I think that's the big message is your husband focusing on this wrong situation? Which, by the way, I mean, if you want to help her, like, I'm not like insecure, like twitching in the corner. I'm the kind of girl to be like, okay, I did not like how that went. My husband's very social, big personality, all the things. Everyone thinks he's flirting with him. And I'm like, that's fine. It's fine that everyone thinks that. And it's fine that you know that that's what they think. Because if you think in your mind, like, oh, everyone just knows I'm really nice, I'm married, I talk about my wife. Like, no. There's a girl over there who's like, oh,
there's always
he talks about his wife. She's petting something, you know? I'm like, no, thank you. That sounded really, okay. Anyway, what I was
for real though. But for real.
I meant like a card or something, like planning out her future.
Right,
with you.
yeah.
You know, it's like, it doesn't stop them to have this sometimes, unfortunately. But I don't get hung up on that. I just monitor in my world what fits to be honoring, respectful, and a good example. Because I know what it's like to live a life in the public. And so we are leaders. So you can either look at like, oh my gosh, there's paparazzi. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being a leader to your kid, being a leader to your friend, being the person around the group who, when everyone's talking disrespectfully about women, you're the one who holds your tongue. Why? Because a wise person learns from someone else's mistakes. I think we all know where that can go. A smart person learns from their own. A fool never learns. So are you going to be the wise one in this room? Are you going to be the one to be like, hey, maybe I'll give her the umbrella. Maybe I'll ask for another umbrella.
I like this.
Right? But keep your focus on your family, because if you build your family and you build your life and you don't start with faith and you, whatever that means for you, for me, I'm a Jesus girl, that's what it means for me. But if you don't start with faith and then the next one be your spouse and the next one be your kid, you will be all out of whack, because underneath that comes your career. That is very challenging. But very challenging. But I heard advice one time. They literally said, here's the deal. You have to make sure that you don't compromise on the things that you committed on behalf of your family. So when you decided to do your little date day with your son, don't cancel on it because you got that big deal. Decide you're going to prioritize the things that you value most in your life. Because here's the deal. I've done a lot of companies. I've done a lot of things. I love business. I'm obsessed with it, honestly. But one day when I heard that I had 2 weeks before I had open heart surgery and they were going to stop my heart, I wasn't thinking about all the campaigns I had done and all the things I led. In fact, I thought about all the clients that I had worked with that I don't even remember. I don't remember what I did. But my son being born, being in this world, my husband being here, like where I'm going after, that's the stuff that matters. So I think you have to, the umbrella question in my view is about where are your eyes and where's your focus.
Exactly.
Did I do a great job answering that question?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That was the most elaborate answer ever.
It was so long. It was a real long.
I love it. But you know, there's different seasons of dating. And where I'm at right now, what you're talking about is looking for that partner who is family focused, who is faith focused, who understands what it takes to actually life with someone. Now, do I want all the passion and all the fun things? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for that person who's going to show up and say, hey, I'm going to stick by you. I can stand next to you during a life tragedy, a lost job, and all those things, not looking for someone to just have a good time with. And discerning that and figuring that out when you're online dating or just dating period can be really difficult.
100%. Drea, I love you. You're amazing. Oh my gosh. You guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. But I wish Drea Renee was going to be here. But listen, we can talk. Hey, babe, can we talk? Yes,
Girl,
we can.
yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Don't go anywhere on the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord. Welcome back to the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord. I'm so excited for this interview. I'm sitting down with the author, singer, songwriter, sports extraordinaire, Mercedes Gannon. How are you?
Thrilled to be here, Rachel.
I'm so glad you're here. What a beautiful story. You're the fabulous author of How to Survive a Knockout. And I know you've been through a lot in your life. You've also done a lot. Let's take it back a minute. So you grew up in Israel.
I was born there to my father, who was IDF, so I was born during a war. So I think I was equipped and ready for life's battles.
Yeah. And then you went on and started doing music. You have a beautiful voice. You broke out into song as soon as you got here, which is so beautiful. One of my favorite songs, Amazing Grace.
Compliments of Christine Peak. She insisted that I sing for you, Mama C. Yes.
She knows for sure. I love her. And then you got into the boxing world. So talk a little bit about your career.
Well, I was born in Israel, raised in Ohio. Then came out here on my own at a very early age on a dream and a prayer. And music and sports is a love affair. I never in my wildest dreams imagined I would have anything to do with boxing. It all started with songs, and athletes love music, and music loves athletes. So being that I'm like yourself, a woman who wants to forge, I ended up representing a lot of the people around me because I could talk.
Yes, and you're so warm. I feel like there's just this like peace when I sit down with you and talk. It's so special. So tell us about your book, How to Survive a Knockout.
How to Survive a Knockout, though it has a boxing title, first I've got to give the shout out and who it's dedicated to. It's dedicated to Penny Marshall. It's dedicated to Joe Frazier, D-Rock from Body Counts, and Bill Gladstone, who I had the blessing of being signed by. They're all up in heaven. So I've got quite a few angels up there, so we'll give it that. Penny Marshall, who was, I would say, my protector. I mean, she was the kind of woman that would say, if you ever meet a guy named Harvey, run, you know? She was like a mom, a mentor, and she would tell me, you know the way you talk, you're a writer. Stop trying to be a director. Stop trying to do this. You're a writer. So when she wasn't feeling well towards the end, I would sit and tell her stories, and she basically directed this, made it happen, and I said to her, I'm a songwriter. I can write 3.5 minutes of a story. You're going to either put me in an insane asylum or in the Santa Monica Bridge. But tenacity, I think it's one of the greatest qualities we can have as a human being, is to just never quit. And though it has the title that relates to boxing, it relates to anyone in life who has been beaten, whether you've been abused, molested, raped, betrayed, whatever it is, it's addressed in there. And I spoke to them from my heart like a gospel, because this was written by God, not me. I could have never finished this, ever on my own. And so I just felt, since I didn't have children, which I didn't, I tried, and I was blessed to have so many legends teach me so much, that let me leave this behind. Let it be the legacy that heals. And this was signed to come out February 12th. My father passed on February 4th. I'm Jewish, so you know I had to sit 7 days for him. So there was no pre-promotion, there was nothing. On the first day it came out, it was #1. Wow. Hallelujah.
Wow.
I mean, how?
Yeah. Breathe some love on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. What a beautiful message. I think that we can all relate to that experience of facing a knockout, whether it's been someone that you've lost, something you've struggled with, a season of your life where you just feel like you can't get back up. And I love that you mentioned tenacity, because I do think that that is the key. It's pushing forward. I remember asking my pop one time for advice, because he was a self-made millionaire back like a long time ago. and he said, it's just persistence, Rachel. You just keep on going. He was a very strong personality, 6'5", very, very wise. And I remember always looking up to him and admiring what he had built in his life. And then,
so you're a daddy's girl too?
Well, that was my grandfather.
Oh, your grandfather, okay.
Yes. It was interesting because, I think I'm a Father God's girl now. I think we all have those wounds that we carry, and I think if I had it my way, I would be more of a daddy's girl. But life had something different for me.
I can read between the lines. I have that with another parent, but my father was, as I say it loud and clear, it was a Kobe and Gigi and more. But I didn't have that with the rest. But that's life. And I think the key to this book is I didn't write it for any other reason that I would hope that I could give a little bit of hope to somebody that just wants to quit. And it's truly about truth, tenacity, and triumph. And, we spend our early lives lost in seeking acceptance. And the only person in our lives that we really have to accept is the woman, the man, whoever we are, in the mirror. And music pulsates. It's got 12 notes. Boxing has 12 rounds. In music, it's how you bend those notes. Just like you can sing Amazing Grace, or you can go, Amazing Grace, how sweet. It's all about your heart. So when you come from your heart, you can't lose. And it don't matter who wants to punch you. You can't lose.
That's so true. I'm so touched by that because I don't know if you know I had open heart surgery, and so
wow, you're so
last year, yeah.
Gosh.
And I think that when you learn how to face that and not want to waste a heartbeat, you start to live truly from an open heart. And so I think that's really my mission in this life, is to help people not only find me as someone with an open heart to them and what they're facing, but also as a person who encourages them, hopefully, to open their hearts, to believe the best. You mentioned how we need to get used to accepting ourselves and loving ourselves. And I know for me personally, like the way that I've come to this safety and doing that more and more and learning, which is what I'm currently doing to do that better, is just to realize that I only really need to serve an audience of one. And God's been for me from the beginning of time. And if I just hold on to that in my soul, then no matter what I do, no matter how many things I mess up, how many fails, how many falls, I can hold true to that. And that's how I come back up from a knockout, right? Because for me, it was my health last year. And I've had other struggles in my life, and I think there'll be more, but I think that message of triumph that you say is so important. What do you think is the key to finding that?
I can tell you and share, I'm a woman that's been through a lot. Raped at gunpoint, found my fiance dead on the floor. I've died many deaths in this lifetime. And I can just say that it's the will to keep living. And I think all of us, and I can speak from my heritage and my DNA, the women have been through hell. So I didn't know the options of not moving forward. Plus, there's a thing when you have a father that loves you, and you may have obstacles with the other side, you have a map. It's just like, when a woman says, my father is the richest man on earth, and that's God. So when you stop living your life for people and acceptance, and what does this person think, and what does this person think, and people love to tell sad stories. I'm really not here to do so. You can read the book, but it's more joy, inspiration, and you can hear and see the brutal heartache. But if we chose to tell better stories, to stop and tell a woman she looks beautiful, to stop the competition, to stop the judgments, for only he can judge. And we would be so much happier. And isn't it funny, like, when you look back at the pictures when you're 18, 19, 21, everything's in the right place. And everything's just perfect. But inside, were a walk-in washing machine of pain. And then you look back and here we are in this skin. And then today, I can say for myself, I've never been happier. And I could care less what anyone thinks, except that's it.
Same. Wow, it's cost you quite a bit to write this book, but I'm so
Oh, it
honored
has. I
that you
had
shared
my
this.
agency that I was with for 18 years try to silence it. You'll see, many have tried to silence this book. And I don't want to sit here and name names and do. It's all in the press. But you know what? You can't filter this.
Meant to be.
If you don't tell the truth, then what'd you live it for?
So good. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have you. You guys, get this book. It is so beautiful, How to Survive a Knockout. Mercedes, thank you for being here today. And you guys, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have the Emmy award-winning stylist and image consultant, Brenda Cooper. She is the author of such a beautiful book, and I'm so excited to sit down with her. Don't go anywhere. I'm Rachel McCord on the McCord List Today. Welcome back to the McCord List Today. I'm Rachel McCord. I'm so excited, you guys. This interview is going to be so much fun. I am sitting down with Emmy award winner.
3 times nominated.
3 times nominated. So all the things.
And 1 win.
And 1 win.
Yes.
Brenda Cooper, hi.
Hi.
Stylist, costume designer. You've got your own book, The
Yes.
Silhouette Solution.
Yes.
I mean, you have done it all.
Yeah, I've had a very diverse career. I've
You
been
have?
very, very fortunate, and I love what I do.
It's amazing. So many people loved your show, The Nanny, where you just took control of the style. You made it happen.
Yes.
And what I love is that you have this vibe for life of just like show up and get it done. So can you take us back through your incredible career? How amazing.
Well, I've had a very diverse career. I just actually gave a speech at Santa Monica College. I just came from there talking to a theater full of students. I got the job. That was my first job. The Nanny was my first job. I had met Fran when I was an assistant in 1990. And it was a short-lived series called Princesses on CBS. And she said, if I ever get my own show, I want you to be the designer. And she got her own show and she called me. And what I wanted to do was bring fashion to television. At that time, creating character is one thing, but bringing fashion to television wasn't something that was really happening at all. And I wanted to bring fashion to TV, and Fran let me do my thing. She was really hands-off. She trusted me. We were a match made in style heaven. And I created, people think I just did Fran. I did the whole show. I created the whole look of the show, and it was just fun. It was exciting. It was really using fashion to create a unique style, which my secret wish at the time was for it to transcend the test of time, because that's my aesthetic. And look what's happened because of social media.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I feel like you had one of those moments. It was your first job, such an epic experience. Then you win your Emmy. Was there a season in that time frame where you just almost felt either like someone needs to pinch me? A lot of people deal with the imposter syndrome. Did you struggle with any of that?
I don't think I've probably dealt with a lot of syndromes, but not imposter.
Okay, that's iconic. That is amazing. I want to know about those syndromes.
I'll tell you, I always say my career found me. I never would have said, I'm going to be a stylist, a costume designer. I was 30 years old. I mean, for the people who think they have to find their calling at 18 or 20 or 22, you don't. I found it at 30, and it's just been an incredible experience of passion. I'm absolutely passionate about empowering men and women through the power of clothing, which is, it's a silent language, and people, they don't give it the credit and the power that it deserves. And I'm passionate about everything color, fabric, and it's not about couture, it's not about the most expensive clothes. It's about taking somebody and seeing them blossom because they have on clothes, they're not following trend. I've put them into clothes that fits and flatters their body the way it is. And as I always say, you don't have to lose weight. You don't have to come back to me when you're 10 pounds lighter. We can, whether you're short, tall, slim, curvy, we can make you look like a 10 right now.
Wow.
And I just love doing it. And I'm so grateful that, you know, I'm now 68. You know, I've done this for quite a while. I'm still passionate about it. I still just love it.
How amazing. And you are so timeless with your fashion and style. And I think it is really encouraging, because for the person at home, that everyday person just wanting to get it together before they run out. I know for me, you know, as soon as I had my son, I almost had to find myself again.
Yes.
And for me, fashion has always been how I create. It's my canvas.
It's an expression.
It is. What are some of the mistakes that you feel like are made that could be maybe rectified, that's outlined in your book?
Well, I think the biggest mistake is people follow trend. Okay, trend is very dangerous. You know, each season I look to find the best of it that will transcend time. But people, they follow trends that often don't fit or flatter. And if you want to be forever fashionable, wear what fits and flatters your body. That is what will make you forever fashionable. So when I did this book, which was just came out a couple of years ago, basically it's the core system that I used on the nanny, because there was no money. And even though I dress celebrities and I work in the business, my heart and my passion is the everyday woman. It's having her walk out the door. She's got a husband, she's got kids, she works, she has no time to herself. But to have her to be able to walk into her closet and go 1, 2, 3, bam, and walk out the door feeling like $1 million ready to take on the world. That's where my heart is. You know, and so the book is a very simple system that it fits every woman, regardless of height, weight, size, age. It fits everybody, and it's a core capsule system, even though I have never liked that word, capsule. It's a capsule system, but from that capsule system, you can, if you want to be bohemian, you can be bohemian. If you want to be traditional, you can be traditional. It's about finding your style ID, your self-expression, and bring it to life. And when I work with people, it's like people who, I hate dressing, I never do this, I never wear that. And I was like, well, why don't we just give it a try? And then I get emails from people, wow, I hated shopping and now I love it. I never knew what to buy and now I do. And for me, it's very fulfilling. It's my way of giving back.
It's beautiful.
And it's not superficial at all.
It's not. And well, I think that goes to your big quote, because you talk about no matter what you're thinking, what you're feeling, to get up, get dressed. Can you talk a little bit about what inspires your quote?
Well, when we think of it, we all struggle. Even though it all looks nice on the outside, all of us have some kind of struggle. So it's like, no matter what you're thinking, no matter what you're feeling, no matter how bad it is, get up, dress up, okay? And that could even be sweats, but put on the nice, it's not your Sunday best, but put on clothes that fit and flatter your body. Get up, dress up, show up, no matter what. And then I forgot my last one because I'm on camera now.
Oh, I love you. I have.
Never give up.
Never give up.
And never give up. I mean, this is what I always say, Rachel, because so many people think, oh, dressing is so superficial. And I beg to differ. I mean, what I do in my world is I'm dressing the temple of your soul. We all have a soul. And your body's your outer expression of your soul. That's what I dress. So it's not anything that's superficial for me. And in the beginning of my book, my first 2 chapters is about cleaning out your inner closet, the inner closet of limiting beliefs that we all have, that we're all programmed with by society, you know, so that we can be sold.
Yes. And I think that that is the most important thing. I'm a strong believer that you can really change your life when you change your thoughts. And I look at my own experience. I used to struggle a lot. And then I went to a conference one time. And for the first time, I heard about positive thinking and how you can really shift how you're thinking. It's biblical. As a man thinks, so is he. It's very, I think it's the core of how we're created. We are created to create. Let there be is really the beginning of our experience. And I think about how you can do that in any space. I love that you start that with your mind and you just let it carry through.
But Rachel, how we think is how we live. Okay, and if we don't train, and I didn't, listen, I grew up in a very negative family. It was always what was missing, it was the glass was half empty, and that got programmed into me and stayed with me. And I remember when I was 30 years old, which is nearly 40 years ago now, I remember the day that I thought, I have to shift this. I have to shift this thinking. And I have been working on it ever since. And it's possible. I mean, I live at peace within myself. I don't struggle. I'm not in fear anymore of even if I don't have what I need, I'm not scared about it anymore. There's an inner, I found an inner peace. And I'll tell you, the greatest antibiotic for negative thinking is gratitude. I mean, to have gratitude and connect to gratitude, and it shows up on my doorstep every day. Gratitude, the simplest thing. Having lunch today, I was grateful for the meal. It makes me emotional. But when you can connect to that, and it takes work. It doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't. Because this mind thing we have, it's with us 24/7. It's like going to the gym. You don't get to go to the gym and then forget about it. You have to be conscious, as you know. You have to be just checking, sitting on the sidelines of your mind all day long, because just one little hole in the boat and something seems to seep in. I mean, the human condition is very interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
You're amazing. I gotta say, the Emmy behind you is really doing great things for my emotional state. Just want to take a picture of it, make myself a little dream board mold. Okay,
She's nice.
Brenda Cooper, the Silhouette Solution. You are an icon. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
You're amazing. This book is incredible. It's everything you need to know. It's like, I feel like that's what you want. This is what you want.
I made it an easy read,
Beautiful.
Easy to follow, not complicated, and you can do it on any budget. You could do it at Target or you could do it at Neiman's, wherever you want.
I love it. Thank you so much,
you.
Brenda.
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much, you guys. That is our show on the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord. I'm so happy that you came to spend this time with me. As you know, this show is all about helping you have life and have it to the full. I hope you feel inspired, feeling loved, and knowing that no matter what, get up, show up, get dressed
up, dress up, show up, and never give up.
That's it. Hey, you guys, that is our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Rachel McCord on the McCord List today.